The Watford Fan Show, the latest on the Golden Boys. And all the gossip from Vicarage Road. Plus, you Hornets getting vocal on the socials. The Watford Fan Show with 7otb.com. Predict 7 results. Win 7 figures. Love Sport London. A great station for a great city.
Evening, it's Love Sport Radio, 2 minutes past 7 across the capital. Time to talk all things Watford as we do on a Sunday. We like to debrief, we like to warm down with Watford after a pent-up weekend of action. Joining me in the studio are Andy, and he's back. It's the smiler.
I thought you were going to bring the soft
we have to get a DBS check to have him in the studio.
I am DBS checked.
Are you DBS checked? Andy, very good. If you're not, please turn off.
I've actually done my homework this time.
Have you?
Yeah, it's back to school tomorrow.
Back to school.
Back to school.
I've got work.
Back to school. What are you doing tomorrow? What's first?
I've got a few free periods, but I've got history tomorrow, and I think I've got PE as well.
Oh, those were the days.
Should be good.
Them what days. Right, plenty to talk about with the Golden Boys. I'm not going to ask the question that Andy has set for fear of being shot by people on social media. He set a question. I didn't set it saying, would you like to see Javi Gracia here next season? I didn't ask it, very simply. But if you want to have your say, it's 0208 70 25 58 at Love Sport Radio on Twitter. We're going to talk Huddersfield versus Watford. We're going to be talking Deeney or Gray up top as well. And we're going to talk to the legend that is Alec Chamberlain. But first, we're going to be talking to Sam from Edgeware. Sam, you've called up Love Sport. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Not bad, pal, not bad. What do you want to say this evening?
Well, I came on a couple of weeks ago and I said, personally, I don't mind if Javi stays or goes simply because we know how the Pozzo method works, all of that. Personally, the main reason I don't want him to go is I don't want to start explaining to all my Tottenham and Arsenal friends how all that. Personally, though, I think the person who's... I know, Jacob, you did a video on it, but I think the person who's survived a lot of the abuse we should be giving is Filippo Giraldi. He has to go.
No, I think you're right to question him, Sam. Is the recruitment for a while defensively anyway has been poor. I said it.
I'll tell you what. I'd genuinely rather have Gabriel Angela at the back than any of our other defenders we got at the moment.
That's fair enough. I mean, that was the Championship days, and we used to get them off Udinese and whatnot. But just in terms of the recruitment recently, I mean, you look at the back line that played yesterday. We had our 5th choice centre back at left back. I know you can't predict Holebas is going to get injured, but Ziegler, was that the right signing? Should we have paid a little bit more for Kieran Gibbs? That's another scenario.
You might get Kieran Gibbs this summer.
Yeah, maybe. Sorry, Sam, what you saying?
You look at the teams that are going down this season: West Brom, maybe Southampton, Stoke. They're the teams who haven't kicked on. They haven't spent the money. They've done pretty much what we've done over the last few seasons. They've gone for the cheapest options, and eventually it comes back to cost you. Now, I think if we don't spend at least 25-30 million on the defence in the summer, we will get relegated.
See, hi Sam, Andy here. So the Pozzo model, it's all about buying cheap and selling high, and I agree. We haven't quite had the defensive signings that we perhaps would have liked, especially this January. But also we've had a lot of injuries as well. So we have still had like 5 centre backs. But they Cathcart, Britos, Prodal's been out.
Are they good enough though?
Arguably, probably not.
I think I like Cathcart. I'd keep Cathcart in the summer. Another one who I always said I think would be a top defender. I think it's a bit late now, but I feel sorry for Tommy Hoban because in the Championship I said he'd be future captain, but obviously now just with all the injuries and stuff.
Yeah, I think Tommy's been out for quite a while to possibly have him in contention. But just coming back to the point, I agree that we haven't had enough investment in the defence. But in terms of actually getting rid of Giraldi, I don't quite agree with that on the basis that this Pozzo model is buying low, selling high. So Alexis Sanchez is the the role model, I guess, for that system. And we've the two players from this season that sort of epitomise what the Pozzo model has been about is Abdoulaye Doucouré and Richarlison. And Doucouré, 8 million, I think, from a season and a half ago. He's going to go for around 40. Maybe we could try and squeeze 50 million out of a big club.
£50 million for Doucouré.
What, you were linked with him, Aaron?
Well, Doucouré won't go.
£50 million.
Nowadays,
if his performances carry on like this, no one would want him.
Thank you very much.
just going back to your point, Sam, about Giraldi, I think he does have to take a bit of the blame. Whether it's probably a little bit drastic to say go now, because the scouting at Watford is I'd arguably say one of the best in the league, and probably one of the best in that second bracket of clubs. But I think, especially defensively, I've said it for a while. If you look at our back line and you compare it with the three teams in the relegation zone, are we any different in quality?
Sam, when I think of Watford's defence, especially the centre-half area, all I think of is slow. Prödl slow. Yeah.
Well, we tried
Brittle
to
slow.
We tried to.
slow.
Kabasele, I think, was the one I was going to say we tried to eradicate it with, because he's got a sprint on him, but he's not electric. Yeah. We have struggled with that. Obviously, we bolstered with Kika Femini at right back. He's pacey, but centre back has always been an issue. If you look at our two best centre backs, it's probably on paper Prödl and Kabasele, and that's I mean, it's a toss up. You could play anyone in there. We haven't got one centre back that plays in there week in, week out and is our best centre back. So definitely, I think the recruitment has to improve this summer, because it's cost us. The fact we're playing Mariappa yesterday at left back just epitomises it for me that we're having to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sam, does Javi stay for you next season, or does he go?
I said it a couple of weeks ago. For me, it's irrelevant whether he stays or goes. Not like that, but because the Pozzo, if the Pozzos know that he was going to stay till the end of the season, then they've got someone lined up already to replace him. So I don't think we have to worry about looking all over the market for a new manager. But for me, I wouldn't want him there next season, because the question I've been asking myself is, what is Javi doing on the training grounds? Because we can see that late goal against Bournemouth. All right, lads, let's sit down and let's look about how we're going to defend those sorts of set pieces and corners. Same thing happens against Burnley the week after. The long throw not cleared properly yesterday. Just makes you wonder what...
Who do you want in then?
Personally, it's hard to see who's around, but I wouldn't want a Mark Hughes or a Tony Pulis sort of manager, because we know that's not the Pozzo method, and we probably appoint someone completely random. If Fulham don't go up, I'd want Slav back, but the Pozzos and him don't have the best relationship.
I agree. I can't see the Pozzos going back in for someone they let go and someone who wasn't willing to budge on their wages. So I think that's not a bad shout, Sam. I wouldn't be surprised if Fulham did go up the way they're playing this season. But another shout that fans are talking about is Villas-Boas.
Maybe potentially, but I don't know. I think there's stuff going on behind closed doors which we don't know about, whether it's with Dini, Gomez, all of that. I just think that the club need to take a long look at themselves in the summer, because while this season hasn't been as bad as the Matsari season, we're just seeing the same thing over and over. Always the second half of the season we collapse, and we need to take a long look at ourselves and correct the mistakes for once.
Sam, you have been brilliant. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget, you can be like Sam. You can call 0208 70 20 558. It's at Love Sport Radio on Twitter. I'm going to be going to social media next.
Nice to see Cambridge Analytica won the boat race. Great guys. Trust me, I know.
Love Sport.
I work for a spokesmansaid.com. We can help you save money on your home insurance. All you need to do is visit a spokesmansaid.com and find out if we can find you a better deal.
The Pitbull is back tackling London's big drive home, and he wants to convert you. All the sports, all the news, and none of the nonsense. The Brian Moore Show drives you home. Weekdays from 4 p.m. Give him a try on a great station for a great city. Love Sport. P.S. Last one to the bar after has to strip naked and do something terrible with a carrot. Those rugby boys, eh?
I watched Peter Rabbit the other day. I was glued to my seat. Otherwise, I would have walked out.
This is Love Sport.
back on Love Sport Radio, 11 minutes past 7 o'clock this Sunday night. Let's go to Twitter because we've had some tweets in. At Watford fan 5 has said, shambolic, no guts and no passion. I also believe half the reason Huddersfield won was because of their fantastic fans. Fair play to them. But in the away stand, only a small minority was seen, which is poor.
I think I have to say I've said it a few times actually. I thought we were intimidated, not only on the pitch but off it too. I think the fan support, you can never really question it, because the fact they've come down from Watford for a 3 o'clock kickoff and then see that has got to be admired. But I have to say Huddersfield, that's probably the best home support I've experienced this season in an away game. They were up for it before the game, 10 minutes before kickoff. They were all in their seats, all singing, all loud, and I mean, the megaphone, the guy at the front, he had his megaphone. It was unbelievable. It was almost like a European game, I thought.
It was, yeah, I'd agree with that. It's definitely the best home atmosphere, including compared to ours, that I've experienced this season. It's always disappointing going away to somewhere like Liverpool and Manchester United, and it's all so quiet, because it's generally filled with a lot of people who are there for a day.
A tourist,
wearing a half and half scarf and then just going to go back home. But Huddersfield's, they were a very, very passionate set of supporters, and they realised that their role that they had to play to help their side get to 3 points. And I think, you know, Watford always travel well away from home. There's always a good noise. There's always a good number of fans, and I don't think we can ever question our passion or our loyalty. But I think it also kind of depends what happens on the pitch and what's happening sort of during our season. And obviously, if our season's fallen a bit flat, then, you know, we may be a bit flat in the stands as well. I was going to say,
I'll speak to Andy off air. It's another season, especially in the Premier League under Flores. I wanted the season to end. Under Mazzari, I wanted the season to end. And now under Gracia, I want the season to end. It's one of those with Watford, it just peters out. It's dead now. We're 9 points of the relegation zone. Are we going to go down? Probably not. Are we going to do anything spectacular this season? Probably not. So we're really just making up the numbers now. So I just want a clean slate and get into next season, because, like you said, there needs to be, and like Sam said, there needs to be recruitment.
Okay, I want to raise a point that I spotted on social media today. Yeah, it's from a guy called Mark Tomlin. He has turned around and he's gone on a scathing rant. Proper rant, full on. It's the kind of thing when you make a sandwich and you pick it up and all the filling falls out.
Worst,
it's one of them
worst thing that could ever happen.
It's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible feeling. Let me start. Are you ready, Jake?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Right.
I'm ready.
He says, what a complete waste of time it is becoming to support Watford. We have no chance of winning the league, no chance of finishing higher than 7th. We are putting out even worse teams in cup competitions as to concentrate finishing 16th. First year of Prem was a bit exciting. Now it's boring. The highlights this year is beating Arsenal and Chelsea. You know for a fact, play a big team away, we are going to get spanked. Play a poor team away, we are probably going to lose.
That is a scathing rant. I think I don't agree with the fans who have come out and said I'd like to be in the Championship again, because at the end of the day the aim is to get back into the Premier League. But when I understand his point in the sense that where's the ambition of the club going? Do we want to get? I think the aim is to get that 7th Europa League spot at some stage. But for that to happen, I think recruitment has to improve, and I've said that for a while. The core of the problem for me stems from recruitment, and at the end of the day, it's not good enough at the minute.
Let's go back to the lines. You can call in 0208 70 25 58. Simon, you've called in from Hearts.
Hello.
Hi, Simon. You're on Love Sport.
Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, I was just listening onto the radio there, and I was hearing you talking about the support for Watford, and I mean, we've got to be held a bit accountable, really, because we can't always just support when our team are winning or scoring goals. I don't think that's how support works. I mean, again, I was away at Anfield, and we couldn't even sell out. So I was sitting next to two tourists who weren't there to support Watford; they're there to support Liverpool.
Yeah, I was.
Do you know what I mean? So they're all, they've got bags. They've got bags of Liverpool shirts. They're all filming like Salah and stuff like that. They're not even there to support Watford, and that comes down to us because we can't sell the tickets.
Yeah. Hi. It's Andy here. That point actually came up in the fans forum that was held recently. Like yourself, I was at Anfield. It was a rather miserable experience on and off the pitch. Like yourself, I was surrounded by tourists as well, and wasn't best pleased about seeing it. You know, we go away from home. We want to be with our friends. We want to be with Watford fans, and to be sat next to a couple of day trippers who are, like you said, taking photos of Mo Salah and trying to hold back celebrations when he scores and nets 4. It's a bit depressing. But Richard Walker actually at the club did raise that point. They said it was a mistake to put tickets on general sale for such a big game. I think they went on general sale for Huddersfield. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't find anything to do in Huddersfield yesterday, so there's no tourists there.
It does happen a lot.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, Simon, another occasion where it did happen was Chelsea away. I wasn't actually at the game, but I was hearing from my mates that they were surrounded by tourists, obviously because it was at Stamford Bridge. They want to see Chelsea and not see the Watford. But no, just overall, I think it is a problem with the club. We're at that stage. We're not a big club, like I said. We're not going to the heights of Europe, and until we do that, I think we'll actually get more day trippers if we do get that Europa League spot one day. But no, it's definitely a problem that I've seen recently, and especially in the Premier League, more so this season actually than recent times.
Definitely more so this season. I agree with that.
I mean, my point is, I'm not having a go at the fans, because the fans we have got are loyal and they love the club completely. But when you go onto social media and you read some of these fans' tweets, I mean, everyone is an absolute masterclass in tactics, and they're all I mean, hindsight is brilliant, isn't it? I mean, we all can go on Twitter after a game and go, you should have played Gray, and if Gray plays, we can go, well, you should have played Deeney. We've got to put a lot more faith in the manager. And probably the next question is going to be, do you think the manager should stay or go?
Simon, I was just about to say, what happens in the summer with Javi? What happens with transfers?
I mean, how can you hold him accountable when he's just coming in January? He's coming in January. He's taken over the team. How can you have fans saying, "Right, get rid of him. He's not good enough"?
I think. I'll play devil's advocate. In response to that, Simon, some fans are saying, well, he's failing to motivate the players now. He's done his job. Do you think that's a player problem? Do you think that's a manager problem? Do you think that's...
Well, there we go. That's the what. Well, I mean, we played that game before, haven't we? I mean, look, we've still got the same players. If players aren't motivated under one manager, we change the manager, and they're not motivated, what are we paying them for?
So do you think it's a player problem? Do you think it's the manager? Obviously not, but do you think it's recruitment?
I think it's across the board. I think it's across the board. In more teams than one, the managers always get sacked, and it's the manager to blame. I mean, I understand he's at the top of the list, but I mean, there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes than we realise. I remember last year, great example. We're all in the rookery, and we were screaming our heads off at Mazzari to bring on success. Excuse me. We're like, bring on success, he makes a difference. None of us knew that he was out the night before getting absolutely wasted on Baileys. I mean, we didn't know that.
He did more than just get wasted on Baileys.
Mazzari was probably like, well, I'd love to bring him on, but he's absolutely... You know, he's off his face.
Probably can't walk in a straight line.
It's the drink of champions, Simon. Very quickly, Simon. Very quickly, we're reacting to a point that we spotted on social media where one fan has said that he doesn't understand, you know, where Watford are right now. They're sort of floating in between finishing 16th every season and trying to break into Europe, but they're not really going to get past 7th. Where are you with Watford?
Well, I mean, you just got to support the manager. You've got to support the team. There's no point after every game. I mean, the Premier League is very hard, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest, it's a very hard league. You're not going to win every game, but we've lost a lot more than what we should have. We're winning games, and we just lose in that final. It's that final 5 minutes, isn't it? That just lets us down. It's hard to put your finger on. You know, there's no cure for it. You can't just fix it all in one. It just takes time. But I feel like the more we change a manager and we keep changing things, the slower the time it just takes to build. I mean, you go on about spending a lot of money. I mean, I heard that before, but I mean, we go back to Leicester. I mean, that was like a miracle, so it probably won't happen again. But look at Sean Dyche at Burnley. I mean, they haven't spent millions.
But that isn't that a different infrastructure of the club though with Burnley?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying the Pozo method doesn't work. I mean, it works great, and what they've done for the club is brilliant. But I'm just saying, I think that you need a bit more faith to build something great, rather than just, I mean, honestly, go on Twitter now, you can see people are calling for the manager already. I mean, it's been months.
As they say, Simon, well, as Jacob's been saying, he cannot wait for the season to end already. It's a typical feeling right now for a Watford fan. Great to hear from you, Simon, this evening. 0208 70 20 558 is the number to call. You can tweet us at Love Sport Radio. We will be speaking to Danny next.
Yeah, go soccer ball. I love soccer ball, truly do. Yep. Go the Brits.
This is Love Sport. The Fans Show on Love Sport with 7otb.com. Predict 7 to net $1 million. Love Sport Breakfast with Ian Stone. The perfect comedy breakfast sandwich. You like it saucy, there'll be something for you. Weekdays from 6 a.m.
Can you save money on your car insurance? Chris did, with a little help from a spokesmansaid.com. Getting real people, real savings.
I'm Chris from Leicestershire, a truck driver. I went on a spokesman said, which was very easy to use for an old git like myself, and the £300 savings enabled me to take my granddaughter to Pontins on holiday.
Find quotes from over 100 leading insurance providers at a spokesmansaid.com. Real people, real savings. Compare, switch and save with a spokesmansaid.com. Fighting for you, saving you money.
All right, we're the Zinzers. Mick the Mole, an associate of ours, just got banged up for a long stretch. Luckily, he had the foresight to protect his gaff with our Zinzer all-coat exterior paint. Goes on brickwork, wood, metal, plastic, you name it. And because it resists cracking, peeling and blistering, it still looks gorgeous for up to 15 years. Which is about how long it will take Mick to tunnel out. He's not a real mole, then? It ain't wind in the willows, Fabian. Zinzer, what's your problem?
Look, 50% off bed sheets. And these towels.
Why is everything floral?
Because she likes flowers.
Who?
Mum. She's staying with us until her extension's built.
Are you joking?
I told you last week.
You didn't.
With up to 70% off big brands, 20 restaurants and a 9-screen cinema, you're guaranteed to get more than you bargained for at London Designer Outlet. Savings for all the family? Hello LDO. Find us in Wembley Park. See website for details. Savings on RRP. It's only for 3 months.
You could visit 10, 20, 50, 100 car dealers. Or just visit Car Giant with giant choice and giant savings.
Car Giant. This is important. It's soccer, not football.
Love Sport. Love Sport with 7otb.com. Play your way to £1 million.
Love Sport Radio. I'll tell you what, we've just found out that Andy's done a sports science degree. Andy, I'm sure if you message the Potzos, you probably get the gig for a bit.
I probably would, yeah. I put along my my championship manager record as well. That's probably enough.
What's
enough
your best?
Occasion. Do you know what? I haven't actually played it. I just said that for effect.
You don't play Championship Manager?
No.
I'm playing
He's probably better than our manager.
I'm playing Championship Manager right now.
Are you?
Football Manager.
We can't actually see what's on your laptop
Championship
screen,
Manager.
so.
No, I play Championship Manager 0102.
Throwback.
Old school.
Proper throw. Do you remember
The
that?
last version of FIFA I have is actually FIFA 2004 on the Nintendo
Legendary.
GameCube. Alan Shearer,
On the
Roberto
GameCube.
Hyder Helgeson, Micah Hyde, Alec Chamberlain.
Micah Hyde was a
What
legend. We'll be speaking to Alec Chamberlain after 7:30, but it's time to speak to Danny from Northampton. Evening, Danny.
Hello, lads. Hello.
How you getting on?
Danny.
No problem. Just want to sort of discuss about the question. Well, will Gracia be next season? I spoke to Jacob yesterday, and I was a bit unsure whether I thought it'd be the right man to take us forward. But now I'm kind of sat here thinking he needs more time than January, like the previous caller said. He needs so much more time. You can't blame him for the way we're playing. It's the players. It's clear it's the players, and not like they've got their sandals and flip flops on. I don't know. Go on.
Sorry, Danny. I think where fans are getting a little bit frustrated though is that we had ideas, and what we've been told is that Gracia was defensively compact, but I think we've shipped 16, 17 goals under him. Granted, we played difficult opposition in the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal away. That was 8 goals in 2 games. But at the end of the day, are you thinking it's down to the? Like you said, do you think it's down to the players? Do you think one person I know you've been unhappy about recently is Troy Deeney? Do you think he should be taking more responsibility?
I mean, yeah, because he's the captain, mate, and he's been here for 8 years. Been here 8 years now. He should be saying, right, lads, come on, this is not good enough. But because he's the captain, all the players are looking at him and think, well, if he's not playing well, what's not playing well?
I was going to ask you, Danny, and I've asked this question for a couple of years now. Is Troy Deeney's effect at Watford, his overall sort of personality, is it starting to wear off?
Yeah.
It is, mate. He thinks, I mean, this is just my opinion, I don't know whether anybody agrees with me, but he thinks he's bigger than Watford. Because he's been here for so long, he thinks, right, it's my way or the highway. But his time is really coming to an end now. I think for the benefit of the club and for our future, I think he just needs to move on, because we're not going to get anywhere. The way our squad is at the minute, okay, granted we've had a lot of injuries this season, but the way the squad is at the minute, we're not going to compete with anything until things change.
I think there's a couple of things we need to address with the Deeney issue. One is... Is he actually effective without a strike partner? No. He can't play up top on his own. He's isolated. I mean, But
you're saying that, mate. Even, he doesn't play with a striker, but he should still put in the work.
No, I agree.
He's not putting in the work.
Yeah, I was going to come on to that, Danny, because I was watching the highlights on Match of the Day and I saw Shane Long chase after every single ball in the channel.
Yeah.
I saw him chase it down. Obviously, Deeney doesn't have the same physical ability as Shane Long, who's small. He's quicker than Deeney, but you would expect him to do more. And we actually did see that in the Championship, where he was bullying defenders. And in that first season with Igalo, we were both we were thinking, you know what, this is a match made in heaven. He's working off Igalo, he's playing balls in behind, but his game has just gone completely out the window since in the last couple of years anyway. Yeah,
I mean, it's a fair point, mate, but it's so frustrating, because we all love Troy Deeney. He's an absolute legend at Watford. His golf could have to speak for itself, but there has to be a point when you sit there and think, hang on a minute, this can't go on forever. This can't go on, because love Troy Deeney, but it's coming to the point where we need to sort of replace him, and because he's not going to be a striker that's going to get us 10-15 goals in the Premier League. It's not going to happen, because he hasn't got a Premier League ability.
Danny, what happens in the summer for you? Where do Watford need to target? Who do they need to bring in? And how do things need to change?
I'm willing to give Gracia the summer to get the players he wants, because he come in at a bad time in January. As we say, he come in at a bad time. The squad was at a really, really low point. I'm willing to give him time. I think we need a whole new defence from literally all the defence. Our defence is so bad. I think midfield is perfect. We'll probably lose to Corey, but I think we've got maybe get a couple centre mids. Maybe 100% we need strikers that's going to score us goals. But I'm really excited for next season. We've got Panoranda come in next season. Hopefully we can get Delafeu again. So as long as we make the right changes and the right positions are filled, then I think we're going to be fine next season. Absolutely.
Brilliant stuff, Danny. Great to hear from you this evening. You don't forget, you can tweet at Love Sport Radio. We want to hear from you, and we want to hear your opinions on all things Watford. Some good points from Danny there.
Yeah, I thought he was spot on with Deeney. What point do you cut off? Because I know you had a massive go at me with he being our Wenger, but what point do you cut ties and what point do you move on? I think he's put up a good point there.
Yeah, I think I partially agree. I think the point about Deeney not playing with a strike partner is important to take into account. Obviously, we've seen Igalo and Vidra partner Deeney, and he's been really effective, even in the Premier League, so we can't have that argument about just in the Championship. But then if you drop Deeney, who's your captain? Do you have any leaders that can actually step up if Tom Cleverley's still injured? Who steps up to the plate and leads the team?
I've said it for a while. I think Chalobah's captain material.
But let's say we've got four games left. We drop Deeney. Cleverley's injured.
Well, probably Marriott, I would say.
Probably Maps.
Well, I've asked someone what a positive was from yesterday's game, and they said that on the way out of the ground they're selling pies for £1.
Yeah, the rollover hot dogs.
That's that's a bargain.
Yeah, I know.
Did you take a couple?
No, I had to do my interviews and whatnot, but she gave me the eyes, like, do you want one? And I was like...
She gave him the eyes.
She gave me the eyes.
I was like, do you want a rollover hot dog? And I was like, I'll give it a miss.
You're too young for that.
That's a bargain.
Too young for that sort of thing, Jacob.
That's a bargain. Did you hot pie?
I saw them giving them away, but I was.
They looked a bit desperate though. You've got to question the quality when they're that desperate and just give them away for that price.
You took the integrity of them. How long have they been in that heating cabinet for? 7:30. This is Love Sport Radio. We're going to be speaking to Watford legend Alec Chamberlain next.
I hear Jamie Oliver is still being chased by people who hate the sugar tax.
If you're a fan of Chelsea, check out Love Sport, Friday night from 7.
Part of the challenge is Conte wasn't directing from the sideline. Players need to be able to raise their game instead of being puppets on a string. We might be expecting too much from average players. We have to support the team when it's down. It's not all Conte's fault. He's made bad selections, but his bench is not a ton better.
The Chelsea Fans Show with 7otb.com on Love Sport.
No real introduction needed to this next guest of ours. 20 years at the club in a variety of capacities. Well over 250 appearances for Watford as well. utter legend. Alec Chamberlain joins us on the line this evening. Evening, Alec.
Good evening. Nice to be with you.
Great to have you on this evening. First and foremost, I know you mentioned your voice is a bit sore. What are you up to after leaving Watford?
I'm still doing a little bit with the Welsh FA, and actually I'm going down tomorrow to Newport with the under-16s. So I'm coaching the goalkeepers there tomorrow morning. But yeah, my throat is not in the best place at the moment, so apologies for that.
No problem. No problem. I mean, you had a very varied career. I mean, you played for Luton Town, and you signed for Watford from Sunderland. What was it like when you first arrived in Watford?
Well, it was obviously a very different place. We were training on effectively rugby pitches, OMTs, in the middle of I'm trying to think of the name of the estate. Anyway, it was crazy, really. But I don't think at that time anybody was too bothered. You know, it was great camaraderie amongst the players, and obviously Kenny actually was the manager at the time. Graham was the general manager, and although that first season, it wasn't a struggle because we finished just outside the playoffs. Kevin Miller was still there. I didn't play a great deal, so it was a bit of a non-season for me. But after that, obviously things got a little bit more interesting, and Graham stepped back up and became the manager.
I mean, you played with some big names. Well, big names in sort of the Watford sort of circles, the likes of Clint Easton, Nigel Gibbs, Richard Johnson, some big names at the time. What was it like being in and amongst that squad? In fact, a better question is, what was the best Watford squad you played with?
I've never really thought about it, to be honest, but obviously we had that back-to-back stuff where we won the League One and then went into the Championship and went through there. So, but squads evolve all the time. Even from that winning the League One, going into the next division. Obviously we added Nick Wright, Alan Smart, and so it was all and obviously they had a massive influence on the next season. So it's very difficult and probably a little bit disrespectful to everybody, really, to sort of pull out one particular squad, especially over the amount of years that I had there. I think it'd be easier at a club like Sunderland, for instance, for me, where I only had 3 years there. I could say, okay, let's narrow it down. With Watford, it was, we were always sort of evolving, as most football clubs are. And, let's be honest, that I don't think for me, that year that we got promotion through the playoffs could have been, a great deal better. And we had a little bit of a wobble, but we came through it and eventually went up through the playoffs.
Hi, Alec. It's Jacob here. We spoke to Richard Lee last week. Just making it back to today. He spoke to Richard Lee last week, and he said that you were very influential at training and on his career in general. Did you feel you were always destined for coaching and at Watford?
Well, when I first signed with Watford, I'd never really used an agent before, but a guy that I'd met through the PFA, Vince O'Keefe, he was a former goalkeeper himself. He came and actually sat with me in the talks with Graham and Kenny, and he's actually said to Graham, he said, look, I can actually see Alec joining your coaching staff when he finishes. And obviously at that time, I'd just signed a 3-year contract, which was really amazing that Graham gave me a 3-year deal anyway at 32. Took me to 35. But obviously I carried on and on. I was really fortunate. But, I hadn't really thought about it. Vince had probably thought about it more than I had. But as the years went by, obviously that was really all I'd done all my life from leaving school. So it would have been crazy not to sort of put all those years of experience and all the games I played, and sort of try to use that and try to help players going forwards. And obviously still here today, even though I've moved on from Watford. I'm still trying to do that with the young lads in the Welsh setup.
Hi Alec, Andy here. Just touching back on that 99 season in the playoff final. How did Graham prepare you and the squad for that game? Did you approach it as the same as every other game, or did he do something different in preparation for that final at Wembley?
No, we were very much prepared. Because obviously there was the penalties. The penalty situation was going to be happening. So we were training at Old Merchant Taylor's, but this time it was actually at the school. And I remember distinctly that we always practiced penalties at every training session. So he would make the players walk from the halfway line. He would have the whistle, make them take the penalties. Yeah. And so it wasn't by fortune or luck that we got through the penalty shootout, because everybody had prepared every day that week, in readiness for a penalty shootout should it happen. And of course it did happen. And I think if you look at them, apart from sadly Steve Palmer missed his, but everybody who takes a penalty is brave enough to take it. So I'm not criticising Steve in any shape or form, but everybody else's penalty was top draw, and because they practiced them so much, I think. So that was a huge effect, I think, on the outcome of the 99 playoff.
Fantastic. And also with the penalties, obviously you made a couple of key saves in that shootout. I've dabbled in sort of the performance analysis area, and we've looked at, when we do some analysis, we look at penalties, try and guess where the striker's going, etc. Did you kind of have that preparation back then? Were you able to watch footage of Birmingham players taking penalties and guess which way they're going, or was it just you took a gamble and you guessed right?
No, not really. No, not in those days. No, we didn't have the analysis. But Kenny Jackett obviously worked with Paul Furlong. And so I give total credit to Kenny for the first save, which was the first penalty. He told me to go that way. Obviously, I had to make the save and had a good strong hand, but it was Kenny's information that helped me. After that, I was pretty rubbish until Chris Holland's penalty. And then, it wasn't the greatest of penalties, and of course, that was a little bit of luck where I went the right way. As soon as I went the right way, I could see the ball coming, and I was smiling before it even reached me. I knew I was going to save it, and it was then about sort of getting the celebrations done. So, it was a wonderful memory. But I recently did a night at the theatre, the Palace Theatre, and Adam Leventhal was completely destroying me with my penalty record at Watford. So
I didn't,
quite rightly,
I didn't want to bring it up, but it was saying like 3 saves in 30, and 2 of those saves they scored on the rebound. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Not Aurelio Gomez standard.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking. Yeah, 3 in 37, I think, and 2 of those were scored the rebound. So yeah, it was complete fluke when we made it, but. No, that's the madness of all sport, isn't it? How do these things work out? How do people come back from these comebacks that have happened in the Champions League this week? It's complete. Sport is so brilliant like that, and it won't change. I don't think. There'll always be these kind of weirdness that happen. And that was one of those. Kevin Paul even scored a goal past me, the goalkeeper for Birmingham. And I think I was due to take probably the next penalty after Chris Holland. So I think I probably, out of the fright, that was probably why I probably saved that one.
Alec, I think for me personally, I always looked at your career for the longevity, and Watford always seemed to be signing goalkeepers to give you competition, but you always seem to beat them off. I look at the likes of Kevin, obviously, you overtook him after he went to Palace. Richard Lee, of course, a friend and, a great guy was there. Espen Bardson, they signed from Spurs under Luca Vialli. Lenny Pidgley came in, and even when Watford went up into the Premier League at 42, you were still able to make an appearance. How did you keep yourself in sort of such fine fettle, and how did you keep competing?
I think, I had a good mentality that whoever I was competing against, you have to train and try and compete in training to be the best every day, and that was sort of drilled into me quite early days. So Kevin Miller, quite rightly at the time, because he won Player of the Year that year and was outstanding. And I had a great relationship with Kev, and I think that's the key as well with goalkeepers. You don't have, certainly in my day, you didn't have any kind of issues about who was playing. You just supported the guy that was playing. So Kev had a fantastic season, and I was there a lot of the time. I wasn't even on the bench. It was just a matter of warming Kev up and getting on with it. After that, I obviously, Chris came in, I competed with him, and obviously I got the nod. Then it's down to your performance, so it's not a conscious decision that you do. You just have to perform. But, that's professional football, that is professional sport. You have to perform. No, you get the chance, you perform, and then you'll keep your place. And that's really how it was. I don't think you have to overthink it. Espen Bardson came in fine, with Alan Nielsen, I think, in a probably club record deal at the time. And obviously Espen started in the side, and he was a very good goalkeeper, a very talented goalkeeper. But in my mind, the only thing I thought was like, okay, Espen had played for Tottenham and had done really, really well when he filled in for Ian Walker, but he never put a season together where he'd actually had loads of games back to back, and that's really how it proved. And eventually, I got my chance again, and I probably was the other way, where I wasn't a big name, I wasn't a big fish, but I was kind of consistent. So I could, once I got my chance again, I sort of took it and stayed in the team. So I guess it's just a matter of consistency. Training well every day, keeping focused, just the things that every sportsman will tell you, but it's it's kind of, I'm not saying boring, but it is the only way you can approach it, because goalkeeping is very much a me or you situation.
Alec Chamberlain, it's been brilliant speaking to you this evening. We've got to get you on again. Thank you so much for taking time out and joining us this Sunday evening. And get well soon. There he is, Alec Chamberlain, former Watford keeper, Watford legend on Love Sport Radio.
Hey, talk sport. Hillary Clinton has got more balls than you do.
558 AM. Love Sport. The Fans Show on Love Sport with 7otb.com. Play your way to £1 million.
1.7 seconds. It's over in a flash. This is the average view time of a video ad on a mobile device. Money worth spent, don't you think? Mark Pritchard, Chief Brand Officer of Procter & Gamble, the world's biggest advertiser, has said that digital ads are annoying people with too much frequency. So, digital media, stick your algorithms up your... Anyway, radio is different. The average listener tunes in for over 21 hours every week. Your potential customers are listening right now. Grow your business with Love Sport Radio.
Stop paying too much for your energy bills. Brian saved money on his at aspokesmansaid.com. Can you?
I'm Brian from Swadlincote, South Derbyshire, and I saved about £400 on my energy bill with a Spokesman Said. The iSpokesman Said website was very easy to use, instructions are quite clear to follow, and the money I saved I put towards a holiday.
aspokesmansaid.com. Compare home energy quotes from the UK's biggest suppliers in just a matter of minutes. To find real people, real savings. Compare, switch and save with aspokesmansaid.com. Fighting for you, saving you money.
Imagine what it's like to be a road worker on a motorway. Please drive carefully through roadworks.
Take your passion for football and turn it into incredible cash prizes. Thousands of footy fans are already playing 7 of the best. Just pick 6 teams to win and 1 to draw, and you could win £1 million. You choose the matches, and you can play on your own or create a team with your mates. It's free to play, so what are you waiting for? Play 7 of the best today. Check out 7otb.com. That's the number 7otb.com. London's lunchtimes have just got tastier. He's a familiar face and isn't afraid to chat about the right stuff. Kevin O'Sullivan on Love Sport. Weekdays from 1.
Somebody told me in London your trainers are sneakers. Unbelievable. That's big. That's huge.
Love Sport, 558 AM. Love Sport with 7otb.com. Predict 7 results. Win 7 figures.
Evenings, Love Sport Radio, 0208 70 25 58. That's the number to dial. Shane from Uxbridge has done that. Shane, evening, you're on Love Sport.
Hey guys, hey Andy, you alright, Jacob?
How you doing,
Hi,
Shane? You alright, mate?
I'm alright, guys. Look, the problem at the moment is it's the same show and it's the same old rubbish being served up by Watford. It really is, isn't it? I mean, so frustrating yesterday, I think, watching the game and all that. And I think yesterday highlighted, despite, I think, all the preconceived things about Gracia, I think yesterday proved that he's not the long-term manager for us. There's no ability from him to change things up when it's needed. There seems to be a lack of motivation from him. The players just don't seem to be playing for him, and I think there's been a word behind the scenes to say quite simply, Gracia won't be staying next season, and I think the players know that. It's just so disappointing. It seems to happen with us every season. We just seem to turn off towards the back end of the season. It's very, very disappointing.
Shane, I have a question. With Gracia being, sort of obviously not the long-term option, let's be fair, no one here is the long-term option at Watford. Do you maybe think that the players aren't really that interested because they think, hey, you know what, someone else is going to come in, we're going to have to do it all again, we'll have to build a relationship, there's no point me building a relationship with this manager, I'll just get on with it and hope for the best, really?
I think that's definitely the case with certain players in that team. I look at someone like Troy Deeney, who actually just has not performed. For him, it's very much a case of he knows he'll be getting into the team on merit rather than performance. And I think some of the players, they know they're not going to be there next season. I think you're absolutely right in some respects, because I look at players like possibly Doucouré, who's been fantastic for us this season. I can't see him sticking around for much longer. I think for me, he's single-handedly running that midfield, and you've got other players in there, Richarlison. I don't think he'll be there next season, and Gray and Okaka again. Their futures, I think, are going to come into question. But no, I do definitely think that. But I think it's time for some stability now, because we've got ambitions to go into Europe. We need a stable manager that's going to take us there. We can't be chopping and changing and everything. We've had two changes this season. I think that's fair enough, because Silver's heart just wasn't in it, and there are stronger words to describe his general behaviour, which I'm not going to use. But it's been quite a roller coaster of a season, and almost a season now of what if or what could have been. I'm not very confident between now and the end of the season. We've got some very tough teams like Palace, Newcastle, etc. I'm not sure we're going to get another win. I'm going to just put that out there, but it will be yet another rebuilding job for Watford. But certain things have got to be addressed. I thought our defence wasn't addressed in January. I think we've only just about survived not addressing the defence, and I mean just about, because there are a couple of wins that we've had, 1-0 against Everton and West Brom, which I will come back to time and time again. If we hadn't have got those 6 points, we would be really, really struggling now, and without a paddle, without a hope, really.
Shane, brilliant stuff. Great to hear from you this Sunday evening. You can be like Shane. 0208 70 25 58 is the number to call. We'll be back with Rupert after this.
Hamilton, not very good this year in Formula One, but at least he has 7 Olivier Awards.
Love Sport.
I work for a spokesmansaid.com. We can help you save money on your home insurance. All you need to do is visit a spokesmansaid.com and find out if we can find you a better deal.
If you're a fan of Brentford, check out Love Sport Thursday night from 9.
I don't think there was many Brentford fans that went to bed last night. I think most people wanted to stay up and just read what was going on social media. It was hilarious. The evening started and ended just as we could have hoped, you know. There was potential for a few banana skins there.
The Brentford Fans Show with 7otb.com on Love Sport.
Good to see Tiger Woods back playing golf. I admire his taste in women, believe me.
558 AM. Love Sport.
Love Sport Radio, Sunday evening. We're talking all things Watford for another 5 or so minutes. Let's go to the lines and welcome Rupert from Miami, Florida. Evening, Rupert.
Evening.
How are you getting on?
I have been a long-time supporter of Watford Football Club, and I would say that the last 6 away games under Gracia, I believe it's 6 that we haven't scored in. Am I correct or incorrect with that?
Keep talking, I'll work it out.
Right, okay, well, I don't think we've scored a goal away from home under Gracia, and
no,
as
correct.
bad
that
as
is correct.
I can recall Watford, right, over the years, we may have been terrible in the old Division 2, the old Division 3. I cannot recall us ever being so boring and negative. It's the worst I've ever seen.
Matt Zari?
In terms of having zero attacking intent. It's unforgivable.
Well, I mean, I have to say, Rupert, I think at the start of the season I think we were spoilt really with the attacking football Marco Silva was bringing to the club. The way we were dominating actually really, really good sides for a club like Watford is fantastic, and obviously it didn't work out. It's a season of ifs and buts. But when Gracia came in, I thought, you know what, we need a manager like him, defensively compact. But are we really getting that with him? No. Are we really doing anything going forward? No. And I think that is actually due to the formation. We should be playing 2 up top. Do you think how would you go about getting the attacking football back at Watford? Because like you said, especially yesterday, it was an awful game.
New manager, Rupert.
Yeah, well, definitely a new manager. I have a lot of sympathy for Troy Deeney. I have a lot of sympathy for Andre Gray. To play the lone striker role in the Premier League, you have to be a world-class player. Neither of those 2 players are world-class. However, they're decent players, but they need a partner. And that has not happened under Gracia. It's unforgivable.
That's a great point, Rupert.
He can barely speak English. It's not his fault. And I would call him a rent-a-coach. So we have gone from having Marco Silva. This is the analogy I would use. Imagine having a model girlfriend and she cheats on you, and then you go from her to someone who's 25 stone and very ugly because you know that she won't cheat on you, that new person. And you can't get away with that.
Possibly the best analogy I've ever heard.
It's a Carlos.
Give that man a knighthood.
Give that man a bacon roll.
It's
That's
one for Carlos Carvajal, that one, isn't it?
Oh.
Rupert, you've got 30 seconds to sum up what needs to happen in the summer.
Right. What needs to happen is that, it's hard because we've given contracts out to players for no reason, such as Capu and Holobas, who are on easy street.
True.
We need a new manager who can. It's not Gracia's fault, but we need a new manager who can speak English fluently, who understands the Premier League, who will not tolerate players on easy street, and that's what's got to happen at a bare minimum. Because if we carry on like this, there's no way we will stay up next season.
Rupert from Miami, you are a gentleman, and we want to hear about you and the supermodels again. Thank you very much, Rupert, for joining us. We've got time for one more call. Here is Johnny from Watford. Johnny, go, go, go.
I don't care how big the manager is, as long as they can stop us conceding goals. I mean, I've got loads of points that I want to make, but...
Make them.
I do want to say that my friend Matt is a Huddersfield fan, and he said we were solid, direct quote, solid and hard to break down. So that's a start. We do need half a team, and I'm sure Filippo Giraldi, and you may have spoken about this in the last 50 minutes. But whoever the panel is, I just want to know if they think that we need a defensive coach more than we need a head coach at the moment.
I think what we wanted from Gracia and what I've heard from him from La Liga pundits and whatnot. They've all said that he's defensively compact, and I've always gone back to that. I think there were signs there, especially against Chelsea. They didn't really have a sniff for a while. Obviously, the Bakayoko sending off helped us. But yesterday, I think what I noticed was we were defensively sound. Is that Huddersfield's lack of quality? Probably, but is it also our good defending as well? I mean, the fact it was 0-0 to the 91st minute says it all, really. So, although we did block out Huddersfield, but I think with Gracia, you are getting a defensive coach. So, I think if we were going to go the other way, Marco Silva's the other end of the spectrum, in my opinion, because we went at Arsenal, we went at Chelsea, we went at the big clubs.
Yeah.
So is this season? Go on, sorry, Jacob. Is this season a success for you?
For me, it's a tough one, really, because I think we've obviously stayed up, which is an achievement, but I think the long-term aim of the Pozzos and Scott Duxbury is to get in the Europa League. So it's a season of what-ifs, it is, but an ifs. But at the end of the day, under Marco Silva, we could have got that 7th Europa League spot.
Johnny, new manager for you in the summer?
No, stay with Gracia until at least Christmas, because Giraldi will get players in. Maybe Gelafeu will sign permanently. We need to sort out these 3 number 9s and what's going on there. We might even need to, shock horror, play 2 up, but then what are you going to do with Cleverley? What are you going to do with Capoue? We need at least 3 new left-backs, which is, I'm sure you've discussed today. We need to keep Kiko fit, and we need Cathcart to be 100% fit.
Brilliant stuff, Johnny. Thank you very much to Andy, to Jacob, and to Johnny, and to all the callers this evening on Love Sport.